Hey guys, XJ9's here, and this could be a video about the May game health feedback response part 1, and there was also a part 2 apparently. So we're gonna look at that. However, I will say right off the bat, it's kind of weird that if you look at the launcher, right? Why is part 1 here than part 2 when it's supposed to be like, again, like this happened, and then this happened, and then like this is not the order. It should say part 1 then part 2. Like, I understand maybe they were being like, oh, click on this and click on this, but like it doesn't actually make sense. It's kind of like a developer mindset type of thing, where like it only makes sense if you know, which I don't like things like that. Um, yeah. So it's interesting. There's two parts to this. I haven't read this yet. I'm assuming there's two parts because either it's too long or they want to categorize it, or it'd be really funny if they made part 2 because part 1 was so bad, but I'm assuming it's just to categorize it or like make it seem like it's a bigger deal than it needs to be. Again, it's kind of funny they even have to make this stuff when there's probably this update should have already happened. What am I expecting from this? Because again, I haven't read this. Is a little bit less nerfs on things. Like, boy, maybe they, because again, like maybe they won't nerf Raksha because people argue Raksha's already garbage GP. Maybe they'll replace the drop with some other niche drop or drops, like the salvage with something else, like a resource. And yeah, I was talking to some people in game, and they pretty much agreed that the Zamorak and Arch-Glacor need GP nerfs. I don't know what Talos needs a GP nerf. I don't know. I actually don't know because I've not done Talos in forever, and you know he doesn't drop. He drops stone spirits instead of like rune ore and stuff. I don't think he really drops salvage. I think he just drops stone spirits. So I don't know. I'm not sure if Talos needs a nerf, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's just read it, guys. So this is part 1 of our May game health feedback response. You may find a link to part 2 at the bottom of this page. A second part will also feature in our news list on the website launcher. Okay. So, gosh, I have to just talk a lot. Hey everyone, we've spent some time in our balancing dungeon. Oh, sorry, balancing dungeon. Like again, like okay, guys. First off, before we even continue more, I'm assuming they're still gonna nerf it, right? I mean, I'm being optimistic, right? They're still gonna nerf like the 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 common loot, but they're gonna buff the uniques. They're gonna show you the rates, the proposed rates, and just see what people think, and that's it. I again, that's all this really should be. It should be like, oops, maybe we should have told the community what we were thinking of nerfing, the uniques at, or like nerfing the commons and buffing uniques at. Like so, we'll see, guys. So I'm not sure what they call it a balancing dungeon. Again, I've never seen these type of words used in my life or like terminologies. Like that doesn't even make. I don't know, guys. It's just weird. And we're back today and give you an update. Oh, sorry, to give you an update on the recent economy changes that we discussed last month as part of our game health update. For yeah, so for a little context, blah blah blah, this map happened. This included a summary of a game health update to tune the drop tables of a handful more recent bosses and Wilderness Flash events. Oh yeah, Wilderness Flash events. I forgot about that. And what other thing needed nerfing? Oh yeah, Arch-Glacor normal needs nerfs because that thing's been broken since day one. And I remember people used to argue to me, oh no, it's not because it's just 2 mil GP hour. And then like, well, loot from 100,000 Arch-Glacor normal mode because people just kept on upping the difficulty as well. Yeah, Wilderness Flash events were really dumb too. They're pretty good for XP though, due to the effect they have on the game's economy. We made the mistake of not covering this in a lot of detail, so already they're kind of confirming that I think they're just going to show the details and then just go on with it after, so hopefully that's the case, which understandably caused a lot of confusion, leaving you without much context or explanation. There were also some clear concerns in the community about certain content we were touching to. Again, people just had no faith in the unique drop rates. Again, in all the posts I read, I think I literally read like 2 or comments, and no one even said like, oh, what's the unique drop rate's gonna be now? It was always just, oh my god, you're nerfing commons. Oh my god, you're nerfing commons. Don't do that. Like, no one even talked about the balancing act of buffing the unique drop rates. So, like, that was just, again, like, I really don't think people are really that constructive. So, it's kind of weird that, again, they listened to them. But we delayed the initial release to refine our approach based on your feedback and provide a more detailed look at our intention, which is the blog. Based on feedback, it also just mean, the feedback of giving information. Well, we'll see. We'll start by explaining what exactly a game health update is. Oh my phone. I think we know what it is, okay? It's the economy. what type of, and also like the game health. I honestly, game health is also like the state of the combat and skilling. Like combat is awful. It's too autopilot or it's too broken with exploits. That's game health. Where's the game health? Hey, where's the game health update with exploits, guys? Like let's fix the smoke cloud. Let's remove switching. That'd be great. Uh, what types of thing they cover and why they matter. And the second part of this blog, okay, yeah. So the second part isn't bad news. This was all planned. They just separated them. We'll break down the drop table changes discussed last month. Okay, so second part is drop tables, including adjustments we made since delaying them, and provide a reason for making all the changes we have. So they're gonna say why they nerf certain things, and then they're what they adjusted and reasonings. Okay, wow, this is again, uh, reasoning is something not a lot of people understand. What are the game health updates? Broadly speaking, the term game health update is an umbrella term for any form of changes that we make to the game which we deem necessary to maintain and improve how the game is doing. This can refer to game progression, encapsulates such thing as skilling, quests, unlocks game difficulty in modes such as Iron Man. I think Magic's dog until you get fractured stuff armor that's an issue in my opinion. The game's economy with rebalances, which can encompass buffs, nerfs, or neutral changes. Okay, game systems on how you interact with the game, such as the tutorial system, clan system, grouping system, or the user interface. Quality of life updates in various forms, technical updates such as code, performance, and maintenance. In short, they can target a wide variety of things to ensure the game continues to provide a strong RuneScape experience while mitigating dangers that could affect the journey and experience of all players, from new to veteran. Many of our past updates would also count as game health updates, even if not directly called one. Okay. Also, I actually wonder who reads this. How many people actually read this, guys? You know, I don't know. My scroll down button's really bad, guys. After almost 25 years of being online and receiving weekly updates, RuneScape is a huge game with a complex web of interconnected content and systems that we need to maintain the balance of. I will say a lot of content is dead. Again, like I played on an alt and I got 120 all in a year, and I just avoided so much content, and you don't even need to do it. Like even if you're an Iron Man, you don't have to do a lot of bullshit. Like some people might go, "Oh, just do cave crawlers to get." Like someone made a video recently. Sorry, a little bit of a tangent, but they made a video about like, oh, how to get nature runes. It was like from cave crawlers, but it's like, well, instead of doing that and like slowing your progression, just do a boss that drops nature runes. I think Croatius drops nature runes, and I think um the Gates of Elidness drops it, and Nakatra does. I like the whole Sanctum does. I think so. But overall, the best way to efficiently progress through the game is just focus on leveling your stats. Don't worry about, oh, let me get this level and then farm this to get nature runes that alch my drops. Like just level up. That's the biggest goal of the game is just level up, and that's why people say it takes so long to level up. They just take forever. So sorry. Um, Aris is truly a living and breathing entity. One that needs to be maintained for another 25 years and more still ahead of us. Oh my god, guys, I'm going to be 54 years old and I don't even play. Guys, imagine the power creep in 25 years. Holy crap. I think Solak, you could just breathe on him and go, and he dies. If you're familiar with old school RuneScape's Project Rebalance or Summer Sweep Up, then these are familiar. I think the only thing they did with Project Rebalance was like, you always hit a 1 at least if you actually successfully hit and stuff. And I think that's the stuff they're talking about, like how they made hit like weaknesses actually matter more in old school. We understand that such changes won't always be loved. Great. The tough love. I love tough love. Changing aspects of content that players have frequently engaged with is going to cause some friction. Again, I think the profit overall will stay the same, but again, people have a hard time grasping GP per hour because they go, "Oh, hey, I didn't get a unique from AOD in 1 hour. This boss sucks." You know, especially if they're lucrative or very rewarding. However, maintaining the game's health and providing a solid game experience requires making such changes. Keep the community at its core. I'm expecting like a 5% decrease in like the nerfs they were doing. Like, oh, instead of 50% Zamorak nerf, we're doing 45. Keeping the community at its core is what RuneScape does best. Okay. It's for this very reason that we delayed the update to make sure we captured and addressed the concerns you raised, and we want to hear your thoughts on what other drop tables or areas of the game would also use. Sorry, could also use updates like those. I don't know, tell us AOD probably and stuff. Depends. What are game health updates necessarily? Oh my god, guys! Like, just keep talking about. I guess I'm reading this, guys. I mean, again, if you want to get to the meat and potatoes, again, I will put timestamps, so just skip ahead. The playing field's always changing. RuneScape players know the game updates. Know that game updates can have very effects on the meta of scaling and PVMing. I mean, it depends who you talk to. Some people say, "Oh, I literally talked to someone PVMing FC, and they were like, the meta of doing 500% Zamorak is using ranged melee hybrid, but okay." When I said like just use necromancy, and it's like, how many people do ranged melee hybrid at Zamorak at 500%? Like probably like 5% or less, and the other like 60% are like necromancers or rangers or something, you know. And it's like that's not what meta is. Meta is what's the most popular thing people are doing. Like again, in League of Legends, I used to do quote unquote off meta things, but they were really good, and I was winning so much with it. But you wouldn't call that meta because no one does it. I just could call it a troll, you know. So or on the value of existing in-game items, uh, be it monetary or sentimental, bro. Who cares, bro? I bought a staff of armor. I had a staff of armor for my girlfriend when it was like back like when it was like 5 bill. And I hope you know, like she'd never used it. Like, bro, like who freaking cares? I don't know, because Magic became ass anyway. Throughout its lifetime, RuneScape has seen many scenarios where a game update can decrease or increase the GP of an item. Again, I'm not sure why people care about shit like this because if you have the item, you're using it, and if you use it over a course of months or years, you profited off it. So who really cares? You weren't going to sell it if this update didn't happen, so why are you so bothered by it now? The only thing I dislike, again, I'll mention again, the Guardians 3, they have collection logs, which back in the day they were kind of prestigious because necromancy didn't exist and combat wasn't so But Great Ricochet really dumbed that down. And the staff armor was also bugged for the first like 2 or 3 weeks, so you couldn't just like DPS Kerapac like crazy. Like once the staff armor got buffed, I think the game got super boring actually. Uh, Making a training method more or less viable or change the difficulty and grind up content. Um, Again, like I mean, I guess their grind content kind of covers where I'm talking about how long it takes to complete a collection log. But again, I just don't think you should change like their late bird bonuses is like probably one of the worst things you can do. Early birds like, oh great, they went and did the content right away. I don't know. I'm just gonna move on. In most cases, this is just a fact of life for RuneScape. In some cases, we'll need to step in to maintain things we anticipate or know you would like maintain. As much as we don't want to change the content you love, this interconnectedness and the sheer size of the game means that it's important for us to tend to areas of the game that need the attention. Again, this is why you don't just make every new content the next best thing, and you actually think of the long term. With my thoughts and ideas, I always think of the long term. Like if you watch my videos, you know I think of the long term. I don't think, oh, this is this update. I think of, oh, what if Magic gets this? What if this gets that? Like, yeah. In regard to the recent drop table changes we presented, all of these drop tables were selected as they are major contributors to gold entering the game, either directly or through alchemical items, but are also major contributors to oversupplying certain items from their common loot table, injecting them into the economy an overabundance of them, which negatively impacts the value of those items. In some cases, like Arch-Glacor, the bosses also harms game progression by allowing players to easily gain GP skill ingredients and combat XP all at the same time while AFKing. It's for these kind of reasons the game help updates are necessary. Again, I called this out literally back on release, and it's just crazy. Like, why do we care now? I would love to hear them. Why do we care now? Why didn't we do anything back when it was obviously an issue back on release, like within the first like weeks or month? You know, like I'm sure people will agree with Jack. Oh yeah, they should nerf it. But I hope you know, back in the day, I was told shit talk for saying this is dumb. You shouldn't be allowed to AFK and get all these charms and all these AFK money and what you call effigies, And they're like, oh, it's just 2-3 mil an hour, low, so game breaking. Like, and you see that's how people argue, and that's why, like, honestly, I kind of just don't care about like having conversations with many people. Like, I explain what it is. Like, guys, I'm going to sidetrack a little bit here, but like, even that whole rune crafting exploit thing with the ethereal strands. I read some comments like 2 days ago, and I commented to like my old comments I never read, and a lot of them were just like, when was it an exploit? And again, like, I did say when it was an exploit in the thread. I in the video, I literally said it was an exploit when it existed. Not when it was when there were 500k a strand, it was an exploit. When it was 10 mil, it was an exploit. It doesn't matter. Yes, Jack should have fixed it, but it was an exploit regardless. People didn't do the exploit when it's 500k a strand because it wasn't that much money. They definitely did it when it was 10 mil a strand or whatever it was, right? And like, people just don't listen to videos. Like, these people ask these questions and obviously did not listen to the video. So that's why, like, if they can't even bother to understand me, why the hell should I talk to them? Honestly, um, sorry. But honestly, I don't really care. Um, as game designers, we know how fun it can be to feel like you're progressing at an accelerated pace, or to find the thing to farm for a specific item you need. Again, I don't even do Arch-Glacor. I didn't even do Arch-Glacor. Again, this game could feel so rewarding to like push yourself, and like, it's not even that hard. So again, on my alt account, how did I get 120 summoning, guys? I literally just did Slayer. Slayer got pushed to 120 and people complained, but it's like, well, it helps you get charms. Like, you do Ripper Demons, you do, I don't know, the, I don't know what other Slayer monsters are, honestly. What did I even do? Gemstone Dragons? What other things? I don't know what else I did. Dinosaurs? But a lot of things drop a lot of charms. That's how I got my 120 summoning. And then also you just do it on double XP, obviously. So, and also, the thing to farm. Again, the problem is that a lot of people just AFK it. Again, I love it. It is very fun doing things at accelerated pace, but also when people can just AFK it, it kind of ruins it. Like, Ripper Demons used to be so cool to kill because they were so hard, but killing them was, wow, I'm getting like the best Slayer experience in the game. But that, they're AFKable now, so who cares? We routinely consider this when we design content. However, when it reaches a stage that is actively harming the game's economy and a player's experience through playing through RuneScape, we need to act upon it. It would never be possible to create an exact method or, sorry, make sure I'm recording, or pace we want players to experience RuneScape through, nor do we want that. However, rebalancing is and will continue to be an ongoing, evolving process. Okay, a my mouse wheel is so bad, guys. Although they may affect a certain boss or method that a group of players really like, game health updates are a positive change for the game and the player base as a whole. Yeah, like the game health update when we made Grimoire pages 100% drop chance. That I suggested, by the way, and people were like, "Don't do it, or Grimoire pages are gonna crash." I mean, it actually made Solak, I think, more consistent of a GP maker than before. So like, again, players in mass, like, actually, I'm not joking, like, statistically in mass, do not know what is good for the game. They do not understand economics in a video game, which is crazy. I cannot, I can't imagine how much they would not understand economics in real life. Um, Maintaining a steady influx of items helps preserve their long-term value, even if the effects aren't immediately noticeable. Uh, Regulating the supply of alchables or raw gold in particular help curb inflation and can support balanced game progression by managing the pace at which players advance. Yeah, and also and also it might change the price of certain items. So like if you're not doing another boss, it might make the resources from a boss, like if a boss drops a lot of resources, but the other boss drops a lot of alchables, the alchable boss got nerfed. Those resources go up. I mean, would they go up? I don't know. It depends. It depends. They can go up or down, but the GP means more, and it just depends. Well, realistically, sure. I don't know. It might even just stay the same. And yeah, even if it stayed the same, it would be more GP essentially. Uh, right. Yeah. That's all. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Regulating the supply of. Yeah. So. Yep. Okay. While we're not aiming to prescribe a single way to play RuneScape, okay. Again, obviously, it's important to ensure the game continues delivering the rich and rewarding experience it's been known for over the past 25 years. Not the past like 4, 5, 6 years, to be honest. Update and why did it even show someone doing inflection? Update and propose economy changes. To reiterate from the original news post, these changes were targeted mostly at Elder God Wars bosses alongside Raksha and Wilderness Flash events. These areas are clear outliers with their influx of GP and oversupply of items coming to the game. I'm surprised a lot of people do Raksha. That's crazy. For most, this was mainly from their common loot pools. I guess because Raksha is kind of like the new Araxer. While in some cases it was necessary to make wider changes, no rare unique items were nerfed, and instead some were buffed. Some were buffed, not all of them. Some. Uh, as we got together to review the changes, we determined it best to make more holistic tweaks after reviewing the data once more. What does holistics mean? I think it means like based on data, including reintroducing some value to some of the weaker drops that were changed. Uh, so they're gonna again like if they nerf something by 20%, they're gonna buff it, and you only make it 10% nerf. In addition to the original changes, we've broadened the list of bosses and reviewed Crasis review is actually pretty big. We'll see Vorkath, Hermod, and Rasial, and made changes to Vorkath and Rasial. Crosis and Hermod remain unchanged. What do you mean, and made changes? Are you going to change the boss? Okay, so they okay. They reviewed these bosses. They didn't change Hermod. Who kills Hermod in mass? People only kill him for the pet, no? Cerasus didn't get changed. I mean, Cerasus got nerfed so much. I think they ended up buffing uniques, but yeah, they nerfed the boss so much, like no one even does the boss anymore in mass. Especially, like they buffed the uniques, but now the unique isn't even that expensive because no one even uses, like, there's so many sets of Crypt Bloom and Magic isn't like the meta anymore. So they're gonna change Vorkath and Rasial as well. I wonder if they'll change with Rasial. Rasial's drops are pretty shit. I think the only good drops he got added recently was the Primal Stone Spirits, and Vorkath's drops are pretty good as well. I mean, obviously with the unique, but I don't know. We'll see. Before we get into specifics, it's good to lay out our design philosophy for these changes and future ones. Again, their design philosophy isn't the best simply because their ideas are literally greater barge and super dark bow. GP, alchables, and inflation. Alchables bring a lot of raw GP into the game, sometimes more that we're comfortable with. A big reason for this is many of the bosses covered. Oh, sorry. A big reason for this is many of the bosses covered within this update. A big reason for this. What? Alchables bring a lot of raw GP to the game, more than we're comfortable with. A big reason for this is many of the bosses covered. It, A big sorry guys, am I stupid? A big reason for this is many of the bosses covered within this update. Oh, sorry, this is a really weird sentence. So again, they're just talking about a big reason is many of the bosses. Yeah. So sorry, you maybe am I dumb? I don't know. I just say it's a really weird way to say it because like a big reason for this is due to the bosses. Like maybe I don't know. I think saying is and stuff like I don't know. I think say putting do there would have helped, guys. I'm not joking. That's a little bit weird. The UK talk differently. They're just different. Okay. Such amounts of gold injection into the game contributes heavily towards inflation. And while inflation itself is not a bad thing, uncontrolled inflation certainly is. Um, I, I guess. Well, how is inflation not a bad thing? I mean, look at inflation in real life. The job wages are stagnant when you all inflation is so high, and executive bonuses. An overabundance of GP into the game means that item prices also fluctuate, requiring more GP to buy things overall. Yeah, see, yeah, this is what kind of I talked about. We're like getting the resources, even if they don't even change price, it will be easier to get certain high value items. and results in an inconsistent player understanding of item values. In most other scenarios, high amounts of accessible GP can also hurt game progression, like in the case of Iron Man mode, where the objective is to play risky with limitations that impose a harder game difficulty. Iron Man don't really need money though, like at all. Many of you will have seen the game data from our 2023 news post, Death Cost, a Matter of Life and Death, which show the top 10 gold sources and how much they added to the game each day on average. We provided the same data again, include up to date this from this month for comparison to demonstrate the situation we're now. So this is the old one. So 92 bill was added to machines, general store, high alchemy. Wow, 24 bill through high alchemy. Who's doing high alchemy? Monster drops drop to floor. What about the chest? Wow, 9 bill through the coin magnet. That's crazy. Treasure hunter cash bags. What do you think treasure hunter is now? Money tree. Who does the money tree? That's crazy. Direct coin prizes 1 bill. Really, 1 bill? I mean, I'm so curious what that is now. So let's look. Oh my god. It's funny too because there's less players too. High alchemy. Is there more high alchemy bots? That's probably like one of the best ways to like do botting. I think it's like the only RS3 bots that exist. So more inflation. Oh, alchemy spring cleaner. Were people not using a spring cleaner before? Hmm. I'm trying to think. Were maybe the spring cleaner wasn't like mainstream or something? Maybe were springs harder to get, or was I'm trying to think because again, Abyssal Beast bring a lot of money through the spring cleaner. A lot of people AFK that, and this is just in 1 month too. So again, I remember some guys shit talked me too. I guys, I don't know why people shit talk me, guys. I wonder how much of this is Slayer and how much of this is like bossing because I remember someone's Raksha preset literally has like a spring cleaner with them for Raksha to alch the drops for some reason, and I don't understand why when you just pick it up. I mean, to be fair, I guess the only reason is like if it's an alchable drop, you could just teleport out right away. But like, you probably want to wait and not, accidentally teleport out on a unique. So yeah, I wonder how much. Again, I wonder how much of this is Slayer or PVM. Very interesting that no one was using the spring cleaner before. It might just be because of how many. Again, like I don't think necromancy did not exist. So necromancy might be again a big AFK tool being used right now. Monster drops dropped to 419 million. Advanced coin magnet. It's less actually. Yeah, I think it's just definitely just people using necromancy or something. 5 bill through treasure hunter. Wow, treasure hunter's pretty bad. General stores, money tree. Oh, less people are doing the money tree. That's so sad. Normal pickpocketing. 1.3 bill. I guess to the Hetz Oasis thing. As you can see, high alchemy is the breadwinner either directly or through things like invention machines and the spring cleaner. Compared to January 2023, invention machines are now bringing in an extra 20 billion GP each day. Meanwhile, GP really? Oh, is this daily? Oh, this is daily. This isn't even monthly. Oh, they're both daily. It's crazy how much GP enters the game a day. That's mad. Um, Meanwhile, GP introduced from direct high alking has more than doubled. It's clear from this data that we have to take action due to the effects these are having. Yeah, I think those are mostly just bots doing high alchemy. Not gonna lie. Item influx and oversupply. Similarly, the overabundance of items also because like the thing is, PVMers might be getting so much salvage that they don't even know to put it in the machine, or have too much to put in the machine that they just sell it for like minus 20%. Bots just buy it up. Uh, the overabundance of items also negatively impacts their prices. To put it simply, the more of an item that comes into the game and stays in the game, the less value it has over time as it becomes cheaper. A decreasing value of an item over time leads to drop tables dwindling in terms of how strong they may be across the board. What this means is a boss that was once decent for its commons is now depending more heavily on the bigger drops. Scaling profitability can simultaneously suffer, as items that may have once been sought out from scaling are now are now oversupplied from other places, PVMing. Once again, this can also affect game progression by allowing too easy access to things like scaling supplies or gear. Again, I don't. No one cares. But everyone loves easy progression. The Iron Man love easy progression. That's all they complain about. They love easy progression. Like, it's weird that that's the thing I don't understand. I would have more respect for Iron Man if they were actually like tough and hard as nails, but like literally they just keep asking for easier and easier progression. They keep asking for certain drops to be added to certain things. They keep asking, like, it's crazy. Additionally, a decrease in value also means it's harder to place that item on other drop tables, especially in new content. Um, okay. By addressing these situations, it allows us to maintain the rate at which items come to the game. Reducing the oversupply over time allows the items to once again gain some value. Although the effects of this usually won't be immediate, we know from many past changes, such as the Croatia's drop table adjustments back in 2023, that prices do recover given some time. For example, cockatrice eggs dropped from 6.5k GP to as low as 100 GP with Croatia's release. Well, yeah, because no one killed cockatrices. Though ever since the February 23 drop tables adjustments, they've continued to trend back upward, currently at 1.1 kgp. The image below shows the past 5 years of price data for cockatrice eggs and key points at which has changed. Again, they might have been so much. Again, it kind of lacks some context because why were they so much? Because summoning potions were really. I do believe they were for summoning potions, right? And back in the day, you used to drink a lot of summoning potions to like skip at AOD. However, because of things like Blood Reaver Prism, Hellhound, Calgrim Demon, which doesn't need summoning potions, and some people use Ripper Demon, but again, not too many. And also, even if you do, you're usually fine with a Prism, which recovers special attack energy, and Spirit Weed sticks. So just hasn't really been a need. Again, like cockatrice eggs could actually be higher if summoning potions were like better or like more mandatory, but they're actually not. Like, you know, like maybe what if summoning potions was like if you drink it, it's like kind of like an overload. Like when you drink it, your summoning specials for the next like 6 minutes are increased by 10% damage or something, or 10% effectiveness. So like Calgrim Demons crit scrolls like 5.5%, something like that maybe. Again, I think the price of eggs would go up a lot. Not many people do crisis in my opinion. Again, no one does Publix at least. So yeah, this was just back when summoning potions were just being spammed. No one uses summoning potions anymore. Um, yeah, that's a bummer. They should also probably put when necromancy was released. Oh my god. Why did I put 1.1k GP, then the highest is 1.2k? Maybe this was made differently and they made this at a different date. I don't know. That's really funny. While we'll give further context on the changes below, we'll drop a little statistic right now to highlight the severity of the situation. Currently, of all the Bayonet Stone Spirits enter the game from NPCs on a daily basis, Arch-Glacor alone is responsible for 95% of them every day, with Herbot as the next largest contributor with just 3%. This effect is also visible when looking at the value of these Stone Spirits. Okay, that's why they said we looked at Herbot, because they were like, what drops these? So honestly, that's actually mad how many Bayonet Stone Spirits drop from the Arch-Glacor. And yeah, that's so bad. They really like just never looked at this data. That's so bad. Oh my god. So like because of this, they can't even give Bayonet Stone Spirits like another boss because the Arch-Glacor just drops too many. That's really bad. Again, how did they not fix this before? I don't know. Incompetence. Incompetent? Yeah. Um, I was trying to say another word, but I couldn't say it, guys. There's a direct correlation between the sharp decrease of their value and the release of Arch-Glacor. Unfortunately, the story is similar with for many of the items found in the drop tables of Arch-Glacor and other Elder Goblins dungeon bosses, which you can see for yourself by looking at the price charts of those items via the RuneScape wiki. Um, yeah, it's probably talk about cannonballs. Cannonballs went a lot down, way down, but then they started going back up once Kerapac's staff became garbage money. Because no one was doing Kerapac for the staff anymore. Um, yeah, Arch-Glacor just tanked everything else, I guess, too. Game progression and the player's journey. The final pillar of our design philosophy regarding these changes is maintaining game progression. Some of the changes we're making, especially with alchables and others, which we'll detail below. 35-minute video. Aim at preserving some of the grind RuneScape is known for. However, it also serves to ensure that content is relevant throughout the game. While we know that the grind is very different 20 plus years on, we want to continue an enjoyable and traditional RuneScape experience without letting players accelerate too fast with disproportionate input. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about XP because XP is kind of butt broken too. My nose. Players can unintentionally change their experience of the game by skipping over large sections of iconic content because certain newer content has completely surpassed it. Again, these things that they're gonna nerf are things that I didn't even do on my alt to get like 120 all and like a lot of GP. This is especially true for bosses like Arch-Glacor, which provide decent combat speed, skilling spies for various skills, and raw GP through coins and alchables, all with a low barrier of entry and inferior AFKing. Yeah, that's the thing that's so bad. Everyone just keeps saying do Arch-Glacor in like the RuneScape Reddit to like learn when like they actually really just mean just go AFK it. For example, it wouldn't make much sense for a player to go and do certain bosses when they could just camp Arch-Glacor, use the gold from that to buy other gear, and skip parts of the progression almost unintentionally. Yeah, so AFK Arch-Glacor, and instead of like doing like normal Kerapac maybe and like dying because there's talk about like, in general players aren't that good or like that geared because gear does so much, but like Arch-Glacor can kill with pretty much like anything. For a boss whose mechanics are meant to teach new players RuneScape's combat system, well, we know you'll agree that this isn't how RuneScape should be played. Haha, no, they're not gonna agree. They're gonna say it's a game mechanic. They're gonna say it's been in the game for years. It shouldn't be nerfed. But again, like they should have been nerfed. This is on Gen X as well. That's so bad. Like I just don't like it when like they act like this is like a new revelation. They act like players are gonna agree when, again, I pointed this out before. And players said, screw me, pretty much. With Group Ironman, we're also observing that Arch-Glacor has been the go-to method for all the above, meaning players ignore content that could otherwise be beneficial and enjoyable. Yep. Yep, people don't understand that. Yep, that Group Ironman, by the way, really means a lot. As you can see from the above, it's a complex situation! Exclamation mark. Everything is connected and there's no right answer. That's not true. There is a right answer. Highlighting the necessity to tweak and maintain things continuously where possible. Ultimately, all of us, JMods and players, care deeply about PVM and all the other aspects of RuneScape and want to make sure it remains healthily balanced. You can care but not care at the same time. Head on over to the second part of our game health update blog by clicking here to delve deep into the breakdown of the changes. Okay, guys, so we're probably going to get to the changes, and hopefully it's not as long. Oh my gosh, guys, we need to hurry this up. Hopefully we can get it under an hour video. Breakdown of changes. Read part one here. Although last month's news post was only a summary, intended to be followed up with another post providing further details. Yeah, well, they did say it was going to like we'll talk a little bit more closer release. They did say that. We understood your concern and the need to be clear with what we're making ahead of time. Players, again, players' input. If players were in charge of balance, the game would be garbage. And honestly, they are in charge of a lot of balance, which is why the game is garbage. The following breakdowns will highlight the changes we've made to the content drop tables, as well as the explanation for those changes. All of these changes were made with the design philosophy outlined in part one, serving as our guidelines. Um, Jesus, my scroll button. Following the delay to the update, we sat down once again and made some additional data, facilitated tweaks and changes. Although quantities were lowered across the board, in various places we replaced lower value items with items that currently carried higher values. So Raksha, for example, might have some lower drop table stuff removed, but have a new drop that doesn't drop too many, but other stuff are still nerfed. This was done to ensure the drop table still carries some weight and variety across the table as a whole, rather than continuing to drop already low value items at even lower quantities. On the flip side, we increase the chance for rare items in several places, remedying situations such as. So actually, this actually reminds me. I think they're nerfing Rasial because of how many people are AFKing. I'm not gonna lie. AFK Rasial, guys, it's a thing, and I was told it wasn't. Yeah, they're probably gonna nerf like the primal stone spirits maybe, but even then, bro, there's so many better things. Like there's non bosses that are like better than bosses to AFK, which is so funny. So sorry. On the flip side, we increase the chance for rare items such in several places, remedying situations such as the frozen core of laying or slightly tuning the boot drops of rocks to reduce how often they're dropped in favor of the other rares. Wow, guys. Again, Raksha's boot drops has been such an issue. Raksha should have never dropped the melee or magic boot ever. It should have just been the range boot. Really. That's how bad it was. Like literally just three extra drop rate of the range boots and remove the melee and magic boots. That's all they had to do, and I can't believe they did that. That was such a bad mistake. They could have actually fixed that. 'Cause I think I said something that about that earlier in release, and they just didn't care. Frozen Core Lane being buffed, I don't know. I never had an issue with the drop rate in my opinion, but like whatever. I guess I don't really care. Notably, because like it's such an old bot. Like bro, Arch-Glacor is so boring. Notably, you'll see an almost complete. I feel bad because he's kind of like a little bit chunky looking. You'll see an almost complete removal of items like inert adrenaline crystals and strength scales. Wow, was this from normal mode or hard mode? Yeah, and strength scales are dropped too much, but again, strength scales are so dirt because strength armor isn't good because dual wield's not good. Strike Armor actually isn't bad. It's just dual wield's bad and Dracolish is overpowered and Elder God arrows are pretty broken. We've done this as the value of items has dropped too significantly due to the sheer volume of them coming into the game. Limiting the supply of them this way will allow them to regain some of their value again as time passes. In no particular order, let's get into it. Oh boy, here we go, guys. So Kerapac decrease coins. It was 158 to 250. So pretty much nerfed it by 50 to 100k coins. Salvage nerf by pretty much in half. Less cannonballs than normal. Oh, normal cannonballs are again. His normal drop table was honestly insane. I kind of never realized how insane the drop table was. Royal Dragonhide nerf. Soul Rune nerf. What else? Like again, you can kind of read this. So it's not like anything special. Primal Stone Spirits from Kerapac nerf. Probably too many coming in. Super Magic 3 instead of Adrenaline Crystals, inert Adrenaline Crystals from Kerapac. Drops in quality of 4 to 8. Is that good? I don't know. Oh, wow. So, so the most interesting change was increasing the drop quantity of manuscripts of Jazz from 1 to 2. It's also a maximum, so they have to drop, and then it's probably a 50-50 whether or not it's 2 or 1. So I actually like this a lot because, oh man, they didn't review Choresis, so I kind of wish they did because it would have been nice if they buffed the Choresis pages. Because Choresis pages is definitely should be buffed. They drop way too low. There's too many books and the pages are so ridiculously rare. To the point that's actually I think like better overall to like just AFK outside Choresis just to get manuscripts of Bic. So, but increase the draw rates by 1%, guys. 1% draw rate, guys. Guys, you're gonna get your staff piece like 2 or 3 kills sooner, guys. Like that doesn't even matter. Well, that's normal mode. That's normal mode. Sorry, this is normal mode. Sorry, I'm shit talking too much. So this is normal mode. That's interesting. So, oh my god, the Kerapac nerf in horde mode, guys. So Kerapac used to drop 300 to 600k. Now it's 250 to 400. Salvage was 5 to 8. Now it's 5 to 6. That's not too big of a nerf. Cannonballs was 550 to 1200. That's 400 to 800. That's a giant nerf to cannonballs. Iron Man loved Kerapac for the cannonballs. Dragon Hide nerf, Soul Rune nerf. Primal Stone Spirit got quite a hefty nerf in my opinion. Yep, inert Adrenaline crystals were replaced with super magics. It's 8 to 12 now. And the contrast, they increased the amount of Hydrix ball tips from 45 to 50. Maximum drop quality of Jazz is 1 to 2. Oh my god. Increase the draw rates of the fraction staff armor by 13%. Holy fuck. Well, that's the pieces, by the way. So, would that be like a 36% drop in, like 36% faster? No, I don't think it would. You would get, what's the drop rate? It's like, what out of like, I don't even know the drop rate of the staff. Is it 1 out of like 120? It either takes like 12 or like 28 kills faster to get a staff piece. I mean, this would have been a nice update with the staff armor, which I think probably went up. The rest of the remaining rares in horde mode were buffed by 60%, but it doesn't really matter because those rares are suck. Like Kerapac gloves, worthless. Codex is worthless. So yeah, Kerapac could have been a cool boss, guys, if he was only horde mode and like only dropped the uniques. Like the Codex was only horde mode. The above changes were aimed at reducing the influx of most of these items. Jesus, including new that 13%. Oh my god, including raw GP in the form of, again, this 13%. I think easily mitigates the profit loss from these commons. The only people who care about these nerfs are Iron Men, because if they already have the staff, they're just doing this for the commons. So it's a buff the mains and nerf the irons. So that yeah. The buff changes are aimed at reducing the influx of most of these items, including raw GP in the form of coins and alchables. The removal of inert adrenaline crystal stimulator aims to choke the oversupply of them so that they can start to regain some value as time passes. This will be the same for the rest of the changes we'll discuss today. I actually don't know what else drops inert adrenaline crystals, RIP. Wow. Adrenaline potions might go up quite a bit. The maximum drop quantity of manuscript adjustments has been increased to make this drop more rewarding, with the similar outlook on increasing the drop rates of other rares such as staff pieces. So again, the manuscript page is a buff to Iron Man as well, because now you can get your pages faster. Like some people only do Kerapac on Iron Man just to get jazz pages. So uh, it's kind of like neutral across the board in my opinion. And yeah, the staff pieces will be hopefully GP will mean more, so the staff should like maybe go down, maybe stay the same, but it'll be more common to get. So you should see more people able to have the staff. Arch-Glacor, we've teased a little data on Arch-Glacor earlier to explain just how responsible it is for the oversupply of consequent consequent devaluing of items in the economy. But now we'll give you some more examples. Every day, Arch-Glacor is responsible for 90% of Baneite stone spirits, 81% of spirit weed seeds, Rip Raksha. Hermod's at 12%. Why Hermod? Bro, I think new snooze are doing Hermod. 95% of Crush Nest entering the game. Highest stock is 3%. Yeah, Rip Crush Nest. That's mostly with horde mode. Day one when that was made, Crush Nest tanked. 55% of uncut dragon skins into the game. Wow. Kerapac's at 10%. Holy crap. No wonder crafting's so affordable to do. That's crazy. 55%? 55% of crystal keys entering the game. The second highest is Rasial at 9.8%. A total of around 8.84 billion GP is in the form of raw cash and alchables. Wow, so Arch-Glacor is responsible for like almost 10% of the GP entering the game. Probably because of alts too. 3 GP from coins, pretty much 3 bill GP from blunt salvage, 2 bill from water battle staffs if high alking, 864 million GP in form of Hydrix bowl tips if high alking. Do people high alk the tips? I guess they do. Note, the above values refer to drops from NPCs and don't include items made by players or received from things like reward chests. What? The above values are referring to drops from NPCs, so Arch-Glacor, and don't include items made by players or received from things like reward chests. So they're talking about the Lang sword, like the Lang swords. And so is this not horde mode? This might not even be horde mode. Or recede from things like reward chests. Because the Arch-Glacor is a reward chest, no? Unless they're talking about reward chests by the when reward chest, like the when chest. So again, I'm thinking it would be one chest because I believe the bird's nest mostly comes from horde mode, no? So yeah, I think that's again. I really wish they were kind of more descriptive of what they're talking about. As you can see from the sample drop alone, Arch-Glacor is consistently oversupplying huge amounts of these items into the game every day, including the influx of GP. In the grand scheme of the game, these numbers may be a drop in the ocean, but coming from only one boss alone every single day with very little effort makes it a clear problem. Yeah, if you nerf it or like nerf the AFK, all of a sudden this like boss doesn't exist in terms of the ecosystem, which is very good. It's mostly because of the AFK. Everyone is AFK in this game. If you refer back to the data of gold sources detailed earlier, although it's not a direct comparison, Arch-Glacor would come in 5th place for amount of gold it brings into with its raw GP and alcohol drops. Zamorak's probably number 1. The above also does include things like charm drops, which negates the need to do other content such as Slayer or even bosses. Yeah, what's the point of getting charms from Solak when Arch-Glacor drops it? And start with ancient effigies, which give generous amounts of XP. Yeah, the effigies are pretty broken from Arch-Glacor. The sheer volume of the scaling items has also drastically affected their GP value and feeds into the progression points we made discussing earlier, as well as having a knock-on effect on scaling profitability and other PVM drop tables. The changes we made detailed below aim to keep Arch-Glacor a useful combat teaching boss in normal mode, while hard mode is intended as a starting point for those who can comfortably do 5 mechanic kills. So are they nerfing hard mode? We'll see. Normal mode. Guys, this is so much text. I don't know who's reading this. Normal mode I'm still recording. Normal mode Arch-Glacor works a bit different to the other bosses we're discussing today due to how the mechanic selection adds multiple multipliers to the possible loot you would receive. Instead of detailing how each drop would be affected, as it'd be too long to do so. It's already too long. We'll cover the core changes and show you how the drop multipliers have changed. The first of the changes to normal mode Arch-Glacor is that the 0 and 1 mechanic fights now have a separate drop table. Wow. Intended to act as an entry-level boss that can aid players in learning RuneScape's combat system, the 0 and 1 mechanic fights have instead found a lot of use in AFKing for great loot and decent XP. This change intends to maintain... Sorry guys, I'm just talking too much. To maintain the original intention of in discouraging AFKing. 0 and 1 mechanic kills will also give 1 drop now instead of 3. That's already a ginormous nerf. Next on the list of changes in the mechanic loot multiplier, the quantity of drops received at Arch-Glacor is determined by number of mechanics active, which each additional mechanic increasing the multiplier. We've reduced that across the board as these were drastically affecting the quantities of commons coming into the game. They should have probably made it a it's 1 mechanic 10%, 2 mechanic 20%, 3 mechanic 40%. 4 mechanics 70%, all 5 mechanics 100%. It should do something like that instead of like it was probably 20, 40, 60, 80, or 100. Harmor sorry. Um because where even was I? We've reduced that the multiplier across the board as these were drastically affecting the quantities of commons coming to the game. Hard mode Arch-Glacor with its enrage and kill streak mechanics will continue to lean on the concept of loot multiplying as intended. Interesting. The loot materials for normal mode have been changed as follows. 1-1. 5 mechanic. Oh, look at that nerf. Oh my god. Even 5 mechanics is dog. Holy fuck. Holy crap. So, it looks like they did have it like exponential. But like, was it just that broken? I think the biggest nerf they're doing here is just making the drop only 1 and the 1 and 2. I don't know. I guess Arch-Glacor is just broken. I don't know, guys. That's crazy. The 1 and 2. I'm not sure how common, I'm sorry, 0 and 1. I'm not sure how common doing 2 is. That's crazy. An example of these multiplier changes with actual drops. A 3 mechanic fight would previously give 45 to 75,000 coins, but now will give 22k to 37. 2 mechanic will give 3 to 5 dragonstones, it will give 2 to 4. 5 mechanic fight will give 56 to 94 cross nest, now I'll give 15 to 19. Below is a summary of the core changes mentioned below, including other changes we're making to normal mode Arch-Glacor. Decrease the quality of loot charm drops. Drops 1 charms in 0 to 1 fights. Drops 2 to 9 charms in 2 plus mechanics fights. Yeah, but I think before it dropped 5 charms times 3. Or was it like 10? But yeah, so you only get 1 charm now, and it's only 1 drop table. So wow, whoop-de-doo, 1 blue charm. Now 2 plus mechanic fights. So you'd probably put on, I don't know, what would you put on? Flurry and what else? I don't know what else you would put on. Could you even AFK us? What's our clickers mechanic? Cannon, Flurry. Maybe you can AFK the cannon. I'm not sure. I don't know. Removing strength scales. Redistribute the chance to uncut dragonstone, so it'll still drop more, which is funny. I wonder if that just mitigates it. Increase the base quantity of Hydra explosives from 1 to 2. The 0 and 1 mechanics fight now have a separate shared drop table and only 1 drop per kill instead of 3. 2 to 5 mechanic fights will continue give you 3 drops per kill. The loot multipliers and different mechanics kills have been scaled down. Yep, so they explained that already. Hard mode. Hard mode mechanics remain unaffected in terms of the broader mechanical changes, although there are still some drop table changes. Okay. Coins, okay, 75k whoop-de-doo. 5 less Hydrix bolts, 10 less salvage, 15 less blue water talismans. They nerfed water talismans in normal mode. Water battle stuff's 10 less. Whoa, that crushed nest, 75 crushed nest, now it's 20. That's very good. Bayonet Stone Spirits 75, now it's 20. Onyx Dust 30, now it's 15. Spirit Weed Seeds, which is a drop from Raksha, was replaced with Water Runes, adjusted base quality to 40. Well, that's great. I think Water Runes are pretty rare to get, right? What even drops Water Runes? Not many things, so that's a really good change. Like, that's a good Iron Man change, a good, like, mainscape, because Water Runes are pretty expensive and annoying. Replace strength skills with cannonballs. So, see, they nerfed Kerapac and gave cannonballs Arch-Glacor. So, like, again, if as long as an equal amount of people are doing these bosses, like the same amount will enter the game. That's like the whole goal. Like again, I like both these changes. Both these changes are very good. I like these. Increase the base chance for a rare roll of in contribution from enrage by 50%. This results in a 50% chance increase to roll a rare. Holy crap! What? Base chance. So like my first kill is like a 1 out of 1,000, so now I'll be like 1 out of 500. Increase the chance of obtaining a frozen core lane by 4%. Decrease the chance of obtaining a scripture oven by 2%. Yeah, they decrease these by 2% to make up for it. So you get the lang more. And you roll on the unique more. Oh my god. Wow, that's I don't know like if how this works with the whole enrage system, but yeah, as long as you roll a unique, it rolls for the Ling, the frozen core of Ling. So I also not sure. Like I'm guessing it's a flat 4%. I'm assuming it's a flat 4%. Oh my god, yeah, that's a ridiculous buff. You're literally going to be getting like again. It says base chance, so like, and that's the thing. I don't know any contribution from a rage. So like, is that base chance 50% more common and rage matters 50% more? I guess so. That's crazy. So you're literally gonna see twice as many uniques from the Arch-Glacor. That's a pretty. Well, lanes are gonna be ridiculously common now. Holy crap! That's like not even funny. That's the most ridiculous buff I've ever seen in my life. I mean, whatever. I don't really care because Arch-Glacor an old shit boss anyway. And again, I cared back in the day when the game was more prestigious. First, say the base quantities of many of the hard mode drops were reduced due to the sheer number of these items being introduced to the economy each day. These values are multiplied by the kill streak number, resulting in overly high quantities of drops and the reason for their overall reduction. Simultaneously, we increase the chance to roll a rare and received and receive a frozen core of laying by shifting the weighting from the scripture and artifact. As we know, a common feeling amongst the community is that the Arch-Glacor is a bit stingy with that drop. I think some people are just unlucky. Some people are just a little bit entitled. Spirit weeds seeds were removed due to the quantities of them entering the game each day. And their price dropped ever since Raksha's release. To allow them again regain some value again. Yet, well, Raksha came out before. Yeah. Please note, those of you who, yeah. So I claimed my streak just to do the stupid PVM achievement. I guarantee you this is gonna be, you have to redo your streak. Those of you who have an existing streaks and unclaimed chests that will have the streak ended and will need to claim your current loot before attempting the encounter again. Your existing loot will remain unaffected by the above changes. If you're on a streak currently, we recommend finishing that before these changes come into the game. Oh my god, that's crazy. They're literally gonna force end all streaks. That's crazy. Like, why though? That's weird. Instead of just saying you need a claim to get the new drop tables, like, do they just not want people to start a streak and just like do it later, just to have the crazy drop tables? You know, that's crazy. They're for it. Like, I want to know the philosophy on that. Why are they forcing it? What if someone wants to have one more streak of the old system? Do they view it as a problem? How many people would even do that? Not even that many. I feel like more people wouldn't even want to do that because of the lane core buff. That's so weird. I feel kind of, I don't know. That's just a weird thing to do. Zamorak and the Zamorak Undercity. So guys, I think we're done freaking reading some dev. Like, are we done? Are we done reading? Yeah, we are. Oh my guys, this is too much. Decrease the quality of Blaze salvage from 5 to 1-2 in story mode. Who does story mode? The bots probably add variance to some drops which only had a single base variety. I wonder if again what was it before? So I don't know. Okay. Fix the bug with dark anima stone spirits not dropping in story mode. This has been achieved by splitting 6% of the weighting to phasmatite stone spirits and keeping 4% to dark. Okay. Normal mode. Rare drops decrease the. So this is the Undercity, by the way, not the not Zamorak. So this doesn't even matter for most people actually, unless it's like bots or something. Decrease the chance to receive onyx dust by 3%. Strength scale replaced by large spikies rune salvage 3 to 6. Increase the chance to receive any of the slivers of pain, power, and strength by 1% each. Okay, that's right. Whatever. Decrease the quantity of huge blaze salvage from 30 to 70 to. Oh, sorry. Decrease to 10 to 23 and 20 to 30 to 5 to 10. Holy crap. Decrease the quality of large rune salvage from 15 to 35 to 69. Oh my god. The 1 to 3 drop is unchanged. I think that's like the high roll drop though. Decrease the maximum drop quantity of small salvage from 15 to 6. Yeah. Oh, this nerfs when you kill the witches at Zamorak, you would get dropped. So I think it nerfs the witches a little bit. Decrease the quantity of tooth half from 2 to 6 to 1 2. Okay. Much of these changes to Zamorak Undercity drops were to simply add more variance in drop quantities, as items were being dropped in static quantities each time. A bug preventing Dark Anima Stone Spirits from dropping was also fixed. Why was it like this forever then? The chance to receive Onyx Dust as a drop was also reduced, with the weighting being shifted to each of the slivers. Zamorak. Note, where you see a decrease or increase in value weight, these have the inverse effect because Zamorak's drop tables gives you allowance for drops. Each drop is worth an amount of points, and these points are deducted from the total allowance. This means that the smaller the number of total weight, the more of that item which could actually be received. Basically, decrease in value of weight is a buff, where it increases a nerf. Okay. Decrease the quantity of torso seeds from 3 to 4 to 1 to 2. Increase the weight from 2 to 3. Oh my god, that nerf that if you get torso seeds RP. Decrease the quantity of dwarf wheat seeds from 7 to 3 7 to 10 to 3 to 4. Okay, decrease the that stuff's worthless. Decrease the quantity of blood runes, so 200 to 300 to 150 to 250. Soul rune nerf. Soul rune has increase in weight, so if you get a soul rune drop, it takes up more weight. Hydrix bolt tips literally nerfed literally in half. Oh my god. Onyx bolts like literally nerfed more in half. 120 to 180 to 50 to 72. Salvage nerf. Cursed ashes, which is worthless. Weight decrease, so that kind of mitigates the other nerfs a little bit. It's only 1 weight now. Salvage was 10 to 18, now it's 5 to 8. Weight increase. Salvage nerf. Inferno Pyroclast. I don't know who even uses this. Weight decrease though, so it kind of mitigates the other nerf. Replace Uncut Onyx with Chaos Relic Uncommon. Wow, that's crazy. Drops that quality of 10 to 20. So that's like 250 to 500k if you alch it. Increase the weight value 2 to 6. Oh my god, no more onyxes. That's RP. Remove Lantidime Seeds. Increase the weight value of Chaos Rock Rare from 5 to 6. Increase the chance to receive Bolas Guardian. Increase the chance to receive a Bolas Guardian piece by 10% at ranges above 500%. Again, it says above 500%. I hope a JBot clarifies. Does this mean at and above 500%? Because like, do you have to do 501% to get it? You know, like, because how this reads is like you literally do 501% to get the 10% increase. That's a pretty big buff to Bolas Guardian pieces. Much like, in some cases, even more problematic than Arch-Glacor, Zamorak drop table mechanism and the rage mechanic were heavily affecting the quantity of drops received. So yeah, I kind of like how they did this though, because it encourages you to do 500% instead of doing, you know, low in rage, 100, 200, 300% in rage. So you're definitely encouraged to do at least 500% in rage. The decrease in quantities you see above is to bring this more under control, because like the other bosses we're discussing today, Zamorak is responsible for bringing a lot of these items into the game. To elaborate on this more, every day Zamorak is responsible for 9% of uncut onyxes entering the game. AOD is 4.4%. Holy crap, that's a lot. Jesus. I wonder how that stat will look after. Like, will AOD be 80%? 75% blood runes, nightmares at 6%, 8% of onyx bolt tips raises 11, 79% of hydrix bolt tips raises 12%, accursed ashes, greater demons is 7%, 55% of dwarfly seeds raises 24%, 70% of lantidime seeds, drill slots at 22%. The above values are referring to drops for NPCs and don't include items made by made by players. Can someone make this stuff? Oh, that's what they mean. Like, so, like, this is who can make hydrix bolt tips? Who can make seeds? I don't know. When it comes to onyxes, Zami takes the cake. Uncut onyxes have for a while now been a near alch value, although they did see a return value from mid 2020 to mid 2021. Well, that was probably because of the Ring of Death, right? Not the Ring of Death. Onyx, because the death costs were so high. Also, the current Ring of Death, I also think it's a mistake that when it procs, it doesn't use charges. One of the best game health updates they could do is when the Ring of Death procs, it uses 15% charge or 10%, doesn't matter. The Ring of Death really needs to use charge so people aren't just brute forcing bosses without some sort of, you know, penalty. So yeah, uncut onyxes will stay garbage unless they make a sink for them again, such as a repair cost with, because you don't well, do you use alchemical onyxes anymore? Alchemical hydrixes? I don't know if you do. I use one onyx, but yeah, Drink of Death used to be such a big thing. But have since then flatlined at alch value. The changes to the draw tail is to choke the oversupply and let the onyxes breathe a little. Just listen to what I said. In terms of GP, everyday Zamorak drops 31 billion GP, alchables, 8 bill salvage, 9 bill onyx bolt tips. This is if you're alking. If you remember our data of gold sources from earlier in this dev blog, the Spring Cleaner sat at rank 3, bringing in an average of 39.4 billion GP a day. Although it's not a direct comparison, Zamorak alone would almost sit at third place for the amount of gold he brings in with these 4 drops. Yeah, that's crazy. Zamorak brings that much money a game. That's actually insane. Alongside these changes, we've also increased the chance to receive a Bolas Guardian piece in line with raising the rates of rare item drops on the other bosses in this blog. So I'm confused. Why do they say that? Why are they saying we're increasing the chance of a Bolas Guardian piece again? Like, did you not say that's here? Like, are you increasing it base and then also like? I'm assuming they're just like reiterating. Suck. Okay, guys, are we done talking? They love taking pictures of Samurai guys. Minions decrease the quantity of onyxable tips from 4060 to 70 to 18. Holy crap, that's a big nerf though. Minions. Salvage 46 to 1 to 3. Strike scales were replaced with Elder Wood Spirits. That's a pretty good change because those are pretty hard to get. Drops the quality of 1 to 2 at the uncommons loot table. 2 to 3 in the rare. Minions that respawn when failing igneous waves will no longer drop loot after the first time. Did anyone actually purposely fail just to, like, not defeat Zuck just to farm more? I don't think so, right? That was probably just like a little bit of like shaving, like, oh, this shouldn't be happening. Like, let's remove like this 5% gold entering the game from people failing DPSing Zuck or something. Maybe tell me if people actually been doing that. Normal and hard mode Zuck replace strength drops with Elder Wood Spirits. 15 to 25. Shift to some of the chance to receive various items on the common loot tables to Elder Wood Spirits. Okay. More spirits, guys. The changes above were made to target alchables and once again remove strength scales, let them regain some value. The biggest change overall, however, was to prevent players from purposely failing and repeating certain waves of the fight to farm drops from the minions while AFK. While looking at the data, we found a disproportionate amount of players killing regular and Ignatius took a heart on wave 4 of the fight. Instead, drops will not only drop instead, drops will now only be given upon the first attempt of these waves. Failing repeating the wave will now give subsequent drops. Are Igneous like Horn mode? I'm guessing Igneous is Horn mode? I'm not sure. Maybe fill me in. Although maybe I'm talking about normal mode because regular would be like the small guys coming in, and normal mode is a bunch of these melee guys coming in, and there's like 3 big ones, I think, right? Wow, that's pretty crazy. I've never heard of this. Who did this? Was there even a video about this? That's crazy. I wonder how they would AFK. Would they just like literally just stand in the middle? Would they have an auto clicker? Would they just click like the B button to like activate the special action button? Would they have a thing that's like tapping B? Like, I'm not joking. Someone might literally have a laptop, have like a thing that just like taps the B button in real life to use special action in AFK, and you don't even need the area loot because it all goes to chest. That's actually crazy and disgusting. Oh my god, that's crazy. I didn't like detect that earlier. I wonder when this was discovered. That's pretty gross. So that's a great nerf. Yeah, that's pretty gross that people actually did that on purpose. Holy shit. Raksha decrease the quality of small blunt rune salvage from 50 to 15 to 22. Salvage nerf, salvage nerf. Huge onyx dust nerf. Dinosaur bone nerf a little bit. Crystal key nerf. Light and dark animica. Replace spirit weeds with arbok seeds. I think arbok actually worth something. So yeah, 2 to 4. Golden dragon fruit seeds with Siku seeds. I think those are worth something. Now it's 2 to 3. Replace inner adrenaline crystals with catalytic anima stones. 40 to 60. Increase the chance to get this drop. What drops inert adrenaline crystals anymore, guys? I don't even know. Remove strength scales, redistribute the chance to get this drop on to other items on the drop table. Decrease the chance to receive any of the glass trees with blast fusion and fleeting boots. The change effectively makes ability books and shadow spikes drops more common. Okay. Once again, many of the changes to Raksha were made in order to reduce the impact of alchables over an oversupply of commons. However, we made the decision to replace some of the items on the drop table to give back some value to Raksha with other drops. As many of you rightly point out, Raksha's commons were already not that great. Much of this was due to the overabundance of items and subsequent bosses that have dropped those same items. Well, not what Onyxos is pretty good. Salvage is pretty darn good. We'll make sure many of you we're sure many of you would delay to see that also Raksha drops Urbuck seeds. Finally, we once again increase the chance of receiving some rare, such as ability books and shadow spikes, by decreasing chance to receive the boots, which also had a lower GP value for some time due to dropping more commonly. Yeah, no one uses fleeting boots too, by the way. It's not just because of dropping more common. It's like literally no one uses fleeting boots, bro. This dog. Who's happy about Urbuck seeds, Iron Man? I don't know. I don't know what the hell that's for. So honestly, it seems like they're still nerfing everything the same. They haven't said that we're not nerfing something hard like we were planning to. That's all I see. Sack of Wild Rewards to increase the Blood with Seeds from 3 to 2. Wyvern Bones 5 to 10. Open your Wildy sacks, I guess, guys. Infernal Ashes 30 to 50, 20 to 40. Muddy Key. Tiny Bladed Necronium salvage to Tiny Bladed Orcium. All Necronium was played with Orcium, which I think is lower. Sack of Very Wild Rewards. Decrease the quality of magic logs from 250 to 300 to 100 to 150. Decrease the chance to get this drop. What? Oh, the magic logs. Decrease the quality of coins from 200 to 300k to 75 to 150. Redistribute the chance of getting the removed items to other items broadly across the drop table. Okay. Replace salvage. Okay, I'm getting so tired. Okay. Background bolts was replaced with a rune drop. That's good. This gives a random rune from possible regular and combination runes, including necromantic runes and time runes. That's pretty cool. Added a very rare chance to receive magical thread as a reward in the slot. That's magical thread. There you go, guys. That's the source. I wonder if you got to open all this before the update or not. Like, or I'm not sure. We'll see. Because like sometimes you have to open them all before receiving the new drops. Remove Hugh Spiky Necronium Salvage. Remove the Annihilation, Decimation, Obliteration weapons. Wow, where are you gonna get them now? Increase the chance to receive these weapons from Wilderness Slayer. See the note at the bottom of this section. That better be super common, bro, or good game. Who does Wilderness Slayer? Like, no one. Split the Lucky Charm Zamorak Undercity drop slot to also include Lucky Charm Dragon Laboratory. I don't think you can swap the Lucky Charm Zamorak for other things. Dragon Laboratory you can swap for other things, so that's pretty good. You probably should just be able to swap them. Increase the chance for this drop. There's a 50% chance to get either item. Oh, so I actually mostly did the events before for the charm, so that's pretty nice. Oh my god, increase the Dark Onyx for drop chance by 50%. Wow. Again, so do you just not open them until after? Is this like the late bird bonus where you just never open them? Manzel has so many. He might open them after the update and just cash in. That's crazy. Onyx-Core, well, I mean, that's pretty cool because now the Onyx-Core can be more accessible and like, oh, it's only 500 mil now. That's pretty cool. I like that because Onyx-Core is such a cool quality of life, but it's way too expensive in my opinion. Wilderness Slayer chest decreased Dragon Trinket drops chance from 21% to 20%. I destroyed mine. This shit sucks. Um, what the hell's a Wilderness Slayer chest, guys? I don't even know. Decrease. I don't care about this. Now it's 1%. What the hell's a Wilderness Slayer chest? I don't even know what the hell that is. Is that like a reward from like completing a Slayer task? Wilderness flash events are a very popular piece of content, bringing more players together regularly, especially for the special events. One of the biggest offenders in terms of the drops here was Necronium Salvage, which has now been replaced 1-to-1 with Alchables Salvage. Oh, guys, we're almost done. To maintain supply, the quantities of drops such as Bloodwood Seeds, Magic Logs, and Wyvern Bones were also reduced. One notable such drop is Background Bolts, once a popular skilling money maker for players. While the flash events have unfortunately made this a more redundant method. Yeah, but also dual wield isn't used at all anymore, so it's still dog. I feel like they just don't understand that. We want to see that return, so we're replacing that drop with a drop consisting of regular and combination runes. Similarly, remove the wilderness weapons drops as they were being dropped in abundance from the reward stacks. We'll increase the chance for them on the wilderness chest. The cherry on top of all this, we're sure you're excited to see a 50% increase in chance of a dark onyx core. And they show some rich bird. I mean, okay, that's kind of cute. I don't know why they even show this. Okay. I don't know who did that. It's kind of funny. Vorkath. They haven't talked about Vorkath after. Uh, Norm mode. Increase the chance to receive an invoke Lord of Bones Incantation Codex by 17%. Increase the chance to obtain Vorkath specs by 10%. Quantity increase from 4 to 6 to 5 to 7. So Norm mode got buffed. Who does Norm mode though? Hard mode. Increase the chance of. Oh my god. Increase the chance to obtain a Lord of Bones Codex by 40% and scale by 40%. When we reviewed Vorkath, we determined it didn't need to receive any nerfs or replacements, and instead we increased the chance to receive Vorkath's rares. That's a giant buff. Vorkath's rares are pretty rare, aren't they? Oh my god. And most of the money comes from the rares. And the thing is, Lord of Bones is, I mean, I don't know, Lord of Bones is only really good for Virago at this point. It's not really that good for anything else. Maybe the Katra if you don't have money for, like, best of slot stuff, I guess. But, yeah, Dracula is always in demand, so I wouldn't even think the scale would go down in price too much, so that's a giant buff. Forecast is probably bonkers money now. Decrease of, guys, Razor Ski nerf, 40 less torso seeds, less salvage. Sorceral seeds were replaced. Split this drop into 1 of 3 potential seed drops. Add dwarf and fellstock seeds. Drops at quantity of 5 to 8 and 4 to 8 respectively. Okay. Replace the original dwarfy drop slot with a chance to get either Elder or Eternal Magic Wood Spirits. That's pretty good because Eternal Magic Wood is such a hard drop to get. 5 to 8 to 4 to 7. Okay. Razor is a consistent popular boss, especially given he's the source of necromancy tier 95s. The changes above are aimed at alchables once again, and as well as things such as like onyx dust, which contribute to the onyx issue, which we discussed earlier. The seeds were also reduced in quality due to the soul amount coming from Rasial, with the aim of choking the supply a bit to allow them to regain some value. Where are we? Here's some data to highlight the situation. Each day, Rasial is responsible for 50% of torso seeds entering the game. Wow, 40 seeds, dude, that's crazy. Fluctuating but tied with Zamorak, which sits at 75% currently. Wow, torso seeds can go up, guys. 25% dwarf seeds entering the game. Rasial sits in second place for the highest contributing seeds, with first being Zamorak, as mentioned above, the third highest. Control. I wonder if you should buy these seeds. Torso and dwarf seeds might go up a lot. 45% of Onyx does enter the game. Arch-Glacor 36%. Fluctuating, yeah. Tied with Arch-Glacor. How's it tied? I guess because it fluctuates. The above values are, yeah. Thanks for reaching the end. Woo, and here we are at the end. We want to thank you for taking the time to read through this behemoth of a blog and hope that we've illustrated the situation and why updates like this are important. As always, we'll be keeping an eye on your feedback and monitoring the effects of these changes whenever they go live. Adjustments will be made where necessary and as we watch the effects of these changes in real time. Finally, we'd like to hear what other games content you think we could use a game health update to. We have many such things we'd like to correct and improve ourselves, but we know that we know that you are as a community are experts and have plenty of good ideas to share us. Well, the communities are not experts, so interested in buff Razel's uniques, but yeah, I think they nerfed Razel because of how many people AFK him. I'm not gonna lie. What other Colossus could use game health? Courageous could definitely use game health. Just more big pages, please. More. We just need more big pages so badly. Increase the drop chance to give more a chance to get to. Virago needs a whole adjustment because he's just a shit boss. Sadly, he Um, maybe just more tectonic energy from him or something. I don't know what else. I don't really care. But, I mean, that's it. I'm tired, guys. This is an hour and 24-minute video. Hope you liked it. Bye. I mean, I will say before I say bye. I mean, I already did, but will they go back on this again? I hope not. If they do it, I won't be surprised. But I mean, based on how they said this, they kind of like. I don't think they really changed anything besides like, hey, we buffed Vorkath, so you know what? Stop crying. People are gonna look at Vorkath and go, oh hell yeah, let's do Vorkath and complete my collection log. And they might change something after, but yeah, it seems that they didn't really change anything. All they did was just show what they're gonna do before doing it. So yeah, I guess that's it. Bye.